today, I want to introduce our guest speaker, Jill Chambers. And Jill has always been a nurturer at heart. She's also been a service provider throughout her career. Her passion is excellent client service. She has an extensive experience in healthcare, working with seniors and vulnerable individuals, as well as years of experience as a financial planning professional. Jill's undergraduate degree is a Bachelor of Nursing. She holds several professional designations, including Certified Financial Planning, Professional CFP, Chartered Financial Divorce Specialist, Chartered Investment Manager. Her most recent designation is a Certified Executor. Yeah, the executor. Certified Executor Advisor. She is passionate about informed consent, financial literacy, efficiency, and aging in place. For Jill, supporting local charities is important. She is involved and provides ongoing support for two local charities, PALS, which is Pet Access League Society, and Made by Mama. I haven't heard about Made by Mama, so you're going to have to explain that one. Anyways, please welcome me as we introduce Jill and have her come up talking about aging in place today.
It sounds quite nice and simple when Sylvia says it, but when I introduce myself, I say I have a very checkered past because I have done lots of different things. I would probably say I'm a lifelong learner, hence the different designations. I love learning new things, and I'm always up for a new challenge. Hence, a 180-degree career shift from nursing to financial services. I've always been a round peg in a square hole, and my friends know that I'm rather quirky. So there, that's me in a nutshell. I've given you some information on the table. I hope you knew that this is a workshop today, not just to sit and listen. So, got a pen, and take up that little plastic thing. And next time you're in a restaurant and you can't read the menu, there's a little flashlight at the end. And ladies with those great big purses that you can never find stuff in, if the pen's near the top, you might be able to just find those keys at the bottom. All right? And then just turn it to get the ink, okay? So there's your first little game for the day. What else? I've given you a little card. When Belinda asked me to speak, I had said, I'm happy to come and speak. I love talking to people, particularly about aging in place. I have a couple of different business ventures, so I'm a serial entrepreneur on top of everything else. One of the businesses that I'm running is called Financial Concierge. If you think of a hotel concierge, what kind of things do they do for you?
Tell you where to go.
Answer some questions, point you in the right direction, that sort of thing. So when I put the word financial with it, and people start thinking I'm going to be talking to them about investments or retirement planning. No, I did that previously. What I do in this role is I particularly help older adults with day-to-day management of finances. If they're having trouble getting the bills paid, maybe it's difficult to physically write a check. Maybe their vision is impaired and it's difficult to see whether they're making that check to NMAX to $40 versus $400. If you ever make that mistake, it takes you forever to get the money back from NMAX. So that's one of the services that we do. I also do a lot of what I call document organization. Nobody ever gets around to it. So I'm going to buy a case of them for Christmas. And everybody's going to get around to it. We all know we should have a binder with all that important stuff in one place. Not necessarily for yourselves, but whoever's going to be picking up the pieces down the road, or maybe acting as your power of attorney. So I launched that business a little over a year ago, 2 years ago in January, and I thought that was going to be the biggest services required. I'm absolutely amazed that I get way more calls from financial advisors, lawyers, who else? Just a variety of people. Individuals that want to get their estate documents done. They want to get their will, their power of attorney, and their personal directive done, and they have no one to name. My first client had outlived 4 executors, had no one to name. Other clients have no children, or their kids are on 2 different continents, or their kids haven't spoken to each other in 6 years. So there's lots of situations where people get stuck in a sticky position. So in a nutshell, that's what I do through that through that company. If you have any questions, have a look at the website. There's a phone number on the back. You can give me a call. There's a general email that says hello@Financial Concierge. That one comes to me, or you can be real fancy and just put Jill@Financial Concierge. So anyway, thanks for coming out today. What we're going to talk about is aging in place. And what does that mean to you? What does that phrase mean? Volunteers? Pat?
Basically being able to stay in your house as long as possible and doing what you have to do, like modifying the house or generating another source of income, and et cetera, et cetera. It's a whole slew of things.
So aging in place, being able to stay in your own home or apartment or condo, wherever you are, for as long as you want, safely, comfortably, with the supports and services in place. Pat says maybe you need a way to augment your income, hence the secondary suites or the, what do they call them, lane homes, smaller houses on a piece of property. So it tends to be a newer concept, this idea of aging in place. Whereas decades ago, everybody aged in place. The family farm, the younger family moved in with mom and dad. When mom and dad needed care, they were there to provide care. Later on, maybe if the children were in the city, maybe mom and dad came and lived with them. And we've that concept is kind of broken down. I think we're in a new wave. I think we're going to get back to a phase where there's much more multi-generational housing. I'm all over my kids. So I'm going to tell you this story. I have 3 kids, 31, 35, and 38. The 38-year-old is a curmudgeon. He has been grouchy since he was 10 years old. Oh, a grouchy old fart. I think it's used to describe English barristers, so it's one of my favorites. So Matthew and his wife have no children. They have 2 dogs, and they just moved into this massive house in Winnipeg. 1,000 square feet on the main floor, 1,000 square foot, fully finished walkout basement. 4 bedrooms. So my mom sends me the listing, the MLS listing. And I email Matthew and say, Matthew, this is marvelous. What a great idea. It's a beautiful home and 4 bedrooms. How considerate. 1 for you, 1 for an office, 1 for me, and 1 for Lauren's mom and dad. This will be so great. I don't hear back for a day and a half. Well, might be okay for a visit. It's not meant for anyone to live there. But I'm going to keep working on it. When I went to visit, I put a little yellow sticky on the door saying, Jill's room. And I said, John and Penny, very graciously, you have the bigger room because there's 2 of you. Anyway, there are lots of advantages to that. If that isn't an option in our own environment, what do we do to make sure that we can live in our own homes for as long as possible? So I didn't create this. I put my logo on it because I paid for the printing. This is actually one of the best uses of your tax dollars that you'll ever see. It was actually cooperation between federal, provincial, and territorial seniors ministers. And they put this workbook together, I think it was in 2015. I printed it off because it took me a day and a half, no, sorry, no, it took me 3.5 hours just to find it online. But I think it's a great resource. And I'm too frugal to print it in colors. $10 a piece if you print it in color. So if you go to the first, so flip over the first page, you'll see a little bit of discussion about the concept of aging in place. Most seniors want to stay in their own homes for as long as possible. There's been lots of surveys done. And very similar to what Pat said, there's a description about what aging in place means to different individuals. So, great to say, I'm aging in place. You can take me out a wooden box. You heard that phrase? Yeah. You can take me out feet first. Super. But let's make sure quality of life is as good as it can be while you are at home. So I want you to flip over to the next page. It looks like this. It's a white one. I think it's a little dinky page number at the bottom. It's officially page 2. So there are 9 areas of life that you need to think about when making that pronouncement that I'm going to age in place. We're not going to cover them all this afternoon. What's that thing about your brain can only absorb what your body can tolerate? So I think if we get through 4 or 5 of them, we'll be doing well. But this is yours to take home and keep working through the ones we don't cover off. So what I'd like to do is, just by show of hands, maybe Sylvia, you can give me just watch for hands here. Who wants to age in place? Raise your hand. Okay, so let's So the 9 areas, my health, my home, transportation, finances, etc. So have a look through those for a second, just these headings, and then we're going to take a straw vote. Okay? Because there's probably some you already know you really would like to talk about. Here's a little bit more work for you. How many of you have a smartphone with you? Okay, so pull it out. 1, make sure, because I want you to put it on vibrate. Okay? Okay, pull it out anyway.
It's already off.
No, there's another step for you. You have to turn it on. As I was saying to Linda before I started, I've been working in this area for a while, and I'm absolutely amazed at the supports and services that are available that will come to you at home. And if you're not out in the field, you wouldn't even know about it. Every week or two, I find a new one. So what I'm going to suggest is in your smartphone, go to Contacts, create new contact. Do you know how to do that? Okay, you can just put in Jill, or you can put Crazy Jill, if that, whatever fits. Jill, and then put CNA, then you'll remember how we met. And I'll give you my cell number. 403 978 2176. 76, yeah. So the reason I'm asking you to put it in there is that you're going to lose this paper, or you're going to, reduce, reuse, and recycle it. And then down the road, you say, oh, she said she knew about all sorts of things. I wonder if there's someone or something. And then you're just going to send me a text. And you can just put Mariana and put CNA. And then I'll know where it came from. I just got my fingers. Okay, so that's just a suggestion. Okay, so which one do you want to start with then, Sylvia?
My health.
My health? Alrighty. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the one that flip the next page, and there's a questionnaire, and it's called My Health. Okay, 403 978 2176. Yeah. So go to the one that's called My Health, and I'm not going to ask you your answers. But what I'd like you to do is to take a minute and look through those, and just really quick. If you read that statement, how does that apply to where you are now? The idea is that you're looking at your health now and going through this little checklist just to kind of tweak your thoughts. Are there some things that maybe you should be thinking about or making some changes? One of the groups that I work with the name is CALL, Calgary Association of Lifelong Learners. Have any of you heard of that group before? How do you tell? So I work with the group, it's called the Health and Wellness Speaker Series. So we have speakers in all of the time on all different topics. And one of the ones that really made an impact on me last fall was Dr. Carrie Scarf. She's an audiologist. And so when he talks down here about screening tests, I didn't know that you should really be having screening tests on a regular basis for your hearing. She said that everybody should have a baseline at age 60, just to see where you're at. Because then if your hearing does change, at least you know how quickly this change has happened. Now, if you're under 65, you have to pay for that hearing test. Once you're 65, then it is covered by Alberta Health.
A lot of places do free hearing tests, like I know Miracle Ear, they're free.
Okay?
Yeah.
Pardon me? And Costco's free as well?
A number of them have free hearing tests.
I think the difference may be in sort of the extent of the testing that's done. But so maybe start off with a free one, and then if there's some question about issues, then you may want to go to an actual, like a real audiologist. Okay, so anyway, that was a surprise to me. Yes?
What I do is after the medical appointments and the hearing urine test is get a copy of that report.
And your name is?
Caroline.
So Caroline's suggestion is, when you have one of those tests done, make sure you get a copy of the report. Because if you don't ask, they probably won't give you one. Yeah. And, sorry, Margot suggests get a copy of everything. Okay. I'm going 1, 2, 3. But number 7 down. I do not smoke or have a plan to quit in the future. I have always been an avid non-smoker. And my view is if you're still smoking at this age, don't bother quitting. It'd be way more stressful to quit. You know, the damage has been done. My mom quit smoking, and it was almost 15 years since she quit, and she developed a carcinoid tumor in her lungs. So at this point, I think the stress of quitting is probably worse than any of the damage that's going to go on. If I drink alcohol, I stay below the limits. Heavens. If you listen to AA, you should never drink alone. Well, I live alone. So I guess I'm a confirmed alcoholic because I have a glass of red wine every night. Purity for the antioxidants. Another little further down, there's one talking about good health, mental health. One of the best things you're doing is today you're out with other people. You're being socially connected. You're stimulating your mind through conversation and hearing some new ideas. You hear this stuff about, you know, learning a new language or taking up bridge or doing crosswords. Well, I have an opinion about everything, so just take it with a grain of salt. Opinions are like noses, everybody has one. One of my ideas is that I think you can do some really simple things to exercise your brain, because we do so much on automatic. So the one I'm concentrating on this week is I always let I'm left hand, left foot dominant. So every time I go up the stairs, I always go with my left foot first. So I'm focusing this week on stepping up with my right foot first. Just make my brain think a little bit harder. Which hand do you brush your teeth with? I bet you always use the same hand. Try brushing your teeth with the other hand. Switch back and forth. It really gets your brain working. Gentlemen, I bet you always put your car keys and your coins in the same pocket. Put them in the other pocket. Wear a hole in a different pocket for a change. Just do something different. For ladies, I bet you always wear your purse on the same shoulder. Just doing some little things like that. That really keeps your brain going and makes just get some new synapses firing in there.
At our age, we're all switching to backpacks.
Switching to backpacks or the over-the-shoulder one, right? I've been a big fan of backpacks. I used to put them on my kids when they were little and we traveled, and everybody thought I was being such a nasty mom, which I am, but I figured it would slow them down so I wouldn't lose them in the airport. Anybody have any
That's
questions
what
on
gravel is made for.
some of the topics under health? Anything that you thought didn't really apply to health or wasn't what you expected? Yes?
The second from the bottom, where it says, I am aware of electronic tools such as medication reminders and health management systems. What do you mean by health management systems?
There are, if anybody, again, has a smartphone, we're very much into technology, there are so many reminders and tools that are technology tools. You can get medication reminders, you can set an alarm on your phone. My girlfriend has it to remind her because she always forgets to take her calcium. So there's a certain beep on her phone to remind her to do that. So you can use it for medication reminders, health monitoring, even things like Fitbits are monitoring your steps. There's other devices now that can monitor your heart rate, your blood pressure. Anybody
You
here?
get that on your heart rate on your phone.
Yes, yeah, but I mean,
There's
your
an
phone
app.
or a,
There's an app for that.
yeah. How many
App
people
for
have
everything.
diabetes? Have you seen them with the little circles on their arms? So you just can put your phone up and it reads your blood sugar and get it right away. You don't even have to be jabbing your fingers. I think that would be priceless.
Very crazy, those.
Pardon me?
Very crazy.
Yes,
So like, you
yeah.
have to stick something in your body permanently, don't you?
You just screw it with the skin. It has to be replaced every 3 months, I think.
Karen, don't you have one with your
It's a patch.
iWatch or whatever?
I don't have one of those, no, I have an insulin pump I still have to put.
But doesn't something go to your watch?
Oh, no, my blood sugars don't go to my watch, but there is a system, a G6, that's just come out, and G5 as well, made by Dexcom, and it does send the information to your phone, and it will also send it to several other people's phones as well.
But you still need the. Yeah, so there's,
Alberta Health Services has so that you can sign up for an ID and you can see all of your, well, all of your, whatever they put up there, your records.
your health records?
Your health records. And you can put your own records up there, like your own, if you're tracking your blood pressure, stuff like that.
You can hear the comment, there's a spot, I think it's called My Health, isn't it?
My Alberta?
My Alberta ID.
Yeah.
So accessing your own records, things like blood results and x-rays and that sort of thing. I talked to a gal recently who's from Alberta, moved out to BC, broke her ankle, and even when she was in BC, now that she had a BC health number, they were still able to connect and get her Alberta health information. So I thought that was pretty cool. I can't imagine the provinces cooperating that way. Okay, oh, I know, my other one, depression and anxiety. One of the biggest factors in people becoming depressed is social isolation. So if you're stuck at home, you're homebound, you're not getting out, you're not connecting, you're much more likely to become depressed. When you become depressed, you're much more likely to impact your cognitive function. And it just becomes a really slippery slope.